Hey, hey, hey. Welcome. This is Urban Politics, and I'm your humble host, Fizzed Music. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, let your fingers do the walking. Take your little cell phone over to YouTube, or actually probably watching this on YouTube after this video. As soon as this video is over, go like and subscribe. Fizzed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive, because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Let's get started with, did y'all see that debate? There was a debate that went down. I do not know why. I don't know why DeSantis would agree to a debate with Gavin Newsom. He had to know who that guy was. Now, I went on record on this show as saying I would have loved to have voted for Gavin Newsom for our next president in 2024. Of course, he's not running because he's the Democratic governor of California, and he's a Democrat. So a Democrat is not going to run against the Democratic incumbent, especially when it's like, an incumbent like Joe Biden, who really only has one strike against him, his age. So he's going to be, the nominee on the Democratic side. He has the apparatus. He's the incumbent. So you don't run against that. Mr. Newsom is not going to run against that. But he could, and if we had a weaker candidate, a lot of people would say, Joe Biden, how much more weaker a candidate could you get? Anyway, if we had a weaker candidate who didn't have all the pluses that Joe Biden has, maybe Mr. Newsom will make a run at it. He isn't. But he had a debate with Ron DeSantis. Like I said, I don't know why DeSantis would okay to that. Just looking at these two guys, Mr. Newsom looks a lot better than DeSantis. Mr. Newsom, he's one of the coolest politicians I've ever seen in my life. The guy's up there, what I'm saying, he just looks really, really cool. They go on and on and on about how he's good looking and how he's, built for the hustle, prime time ready. I agree with all of that, man. Gavin Newsom, he talks right, he be looking right. Like I said, he's one of the coolest politicians I've ever seen. And then Ron DeSantis, a little short guy who gets to doing this bobblehead thing whenever he don't know how to answer a question. I don't know what possessed him to a debate with that man, but he did. And he got his lunch ate right there on national TV in front of everybody. He got his handed to him by Gavin Newsom. That debate was hilarious. Period, point blank, like I said, Gavin Newsom just looks better than DeSantis, so the optics of it were horrible. And then he talked about him trying, Gavin Newsom talked about how Ron DeSantis is trying to out-Trump Trump. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's a Republican. He's trying to garner favor in that party. So he has to out-Trump Trump. And he can't out-Trump Trump. He has to out-Trump Trump without saying anything negative about Trump. Woo! That's a heck of a tightrope to walk. But all of those Republican nominees or want to be nominees or whatever, vying for that position, that's the tightrope they all have to walk, including Nikki Haley. Now, some of them have come out critical of Trump. Not as much as they want to, but probably as much as they feel like they can without totally, being pariahs and shunned in that party. But even with that said, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, because look, Trump has 54% in the support in the Republican Party. DeSantis is the only person second to him, 17%. I mean, that's nothing. So DeSantis doesn't even have half the support that Trump has. Here's a man, Trump, who has, I think, 80 to 90 criminal allegations against him, currently in court right now in Georgia. Looks good going to jail in New York because him and his kids have had a criminal a criminal enterprise that they've been perpetuating for years, and now it's all coming to a head. So come on now. Even with all of that going on, the only other person that's closest, to being over Trump is DeSantis, and he's still only got 17% in the Republican Party. So that right there shows you that a lot. And then people are always like, with all this stuff Trump's got going on, how does he still garner that much favor in that party? These people don't care. They're sold on Trump. They don't care what happens. They don't care what he does. They don't care how many indictments he gets. They don't care how many criminal charges come. They don't care how many rape charges. They don't care how many times he settles out of court. They don't care how many disabled vets that he defrauds. They don't care. They are sold on Donald Trump, and that's who they're voting for. That's who they're supporting. So that 54% isn't going anywhere. Now, take heed, ladies and gentlemen. I talked about this last show, too, because I talked about how right now it looks like Biden and Trump are neck and neck. In some instances, Trump is even coming out over Biden. I say the same thing saying that I say with these numbers too. Don't get too excited. We're a year out from the election. So right now, even the Republican Party, now I'm not looking for that number to change. We're talking about the Republican Party here, right? So these are people who are going to vote for a Republican or vote for Trump. They're probably going to vote for Trump. They never were going to vote for Biden. But the fact is, 54% of them who are on Trump's team right now, that could change. That man has a whole lot to go through in this year coming up. Like I said, he's got all these criminal trials. And we'll see how a lot of these pan out. He could mess around and end up in the joint. Now, I went on record here saying I don't think he'll get arrested. I don't, but there could be some other kind of accountability that they come up with to try and hold Trump's feet to the fire. I wouldn't be surprised by it. This is America. People get creative all the time, and they can get real creative with their sentencing and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens in a year. But I don't think that 54% is going anywhere. Like I said, these are people who love Trump's dirty draws. They worship the ground he walks on. He made racism. He made it popular again. He brought it back in style, and these people love him for it, so they'll be Trump supporters to the day they die, right? So that is what it is, but I don't know why DeSantis would go out like he went out going up against the likes of Gavin Newsom. Like I said, the man's more articulate than him. He looks better. He was dressed better. He doesn't have to wear high-heel boots because he's actually an adult man size, unlike DeSantis. So I don't know what DeSantis was thinking having that debate, but he got, like I said, he got his lunch ate national TV. He got his handed to him by Gavin Newsom. So that is what it is. And like Gavin Newsom said, he said, how's that working out for you? Trying to out-Trump Trump. DeSantis, how's that working out for you? And he didn't even have a comment. He had nothing to say. He's got nothing to say because he's just, you know what I'm saying? And I've talked about it on this show ad nauseum. You know what I'm saying? His campaign is going down in flames. So we'll just see how long, you know what I'm saying, Mr. DeSantis can hang on to this, to this campaign. It's basically in the toilet at this point because your forerunner and your standard bearer is Trump, and people in your party they want him. They don't want you. They don't want Trump light. They want the original flavor, Trump, right? Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about, so I want to totally shift gears. This is not about politics. This is more about just regular life and you and me living a good, healthy life, right? So 263 of the world's longest living people have 9 non-negotiables. These are called the Power 9 for a long life. So they talk to 263 people who are over the age of 100, right? So these people definitely know about living a long life, what it takes to be mentally and physically healthy. So they talk to them, and these are 9 things that they said you must have. If you call yourself trying to live a long, healthy life, these are non-negotiable. These things right here that I'm going to talk about, these 9 things must be at work in your life, or you can hang it up, ladies and gentlemen, right? And this coming from the experts. This coming from people who are 100 plus. So check it out. Number 1, they said move naturally, right? They were talking about how a lot of these people who have lived to be 100 plus years old, they're not hitting the gym every day. They don't have leg day. They don't have arm day. Okay, they're not trying to have you get a couple of tickets to the gun show. They're not on that. These are people though who just stay active in their regular lives. Now me, I work with autistic kids. If you know anything about autism and autistic kids, they like to walk a lot. So I'm constantly walking at work. So that when I read this, I feel real good about that because my job makes me active. Even if I wouldn't want to be active, even if I wanted to sit around all day, I can't because there's going to be some kid and that's what he going to want to work for, a walk. So I'm taking a walk. We walking around the building, might do a couple of laps around the building, do a couple of walks inside or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. That keeps me, moving. And I got a watch that'll like take my blood pressure and stuff like that and it'll count your steps. I easily get 7, 8, 9,000 steps a day. That ain't nothing. That's a light day for me, and that's something, and it happens and I don't even notice it happening. But I look down at my watch and show these thousands of steps I've taken. That mobility, that's added to my life, right? Because that's me getting a workout and not even know I'm getting a workout. So that's what they said. Move naturally. Find ways in your life or things in your life to keep you active and you ain't even got to go looking for that activity. They said purpose. Got to have some purpose, And I tell people all the day, every day, you know what I'm saying? You got to pay bills, right? You got to pay your rent or your mortgage, but you want to have some purpose. You want to wake up every day and do something, and it's not about the money or anything like that, but it's about because this is something you think is important. This is something you're dedicated to. That's all so kind of wrapped up in my job. Like I said, I've worked with kids for 30 plus years, probably all of my adult life. I've worked with the youth. I'm dedicated to that. That gives me a sense of purpose because I really feel like there's nothing more important out here than the youth. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The children are the future. Without the children, we have no future. And a lot of people are like, well, these kids are raggedy. We don't want them. Well, once again, we got to dance with the girls we came with, right? These are the kids we got. Ladies and gentlemen, they're your kids, they're my kids. We need to love on them and make sure that they become worthwhile adults. So that's what it is. But see, that's purpose. So that's some purpose that I found in my job. Find you some purpose too. And even if it ain't your work, find you some other purpose. Find you something else in your life that you can be passionate about that's going to add years to your life, right? They talk about downshifting. Yes, we all have to have some downtime. You know, these cell phones and such, throw it out the window for a couple hours. I didn't mean that, I don't mean that literally. I'm saying, technically, figuratively, just put it to the side for a little while and get a little downtime. Decompress. Maybe have some meditation. Maybe you just have some time just watching regular TV or just talking to family and friends a couple of hours without your cell phone or your other electronic device, your other creature comfort in your hand. We got to have some downtime, man. We all have to disconnect for a while. For real. You got to give yourself a little relax, a little break. So remember that. Got to have some downside. You got to downshift. The 80% rule, they said you should only eat to when you feel 80% full. Now, I messed that up earlier. I had some Taco Bell and I felt 180% full. So my stomach was ate way too much of that Taco Bell. But it was good and I couldn't stop eating it. So there's that though. But see, that's where I messed up. They said you should be eating and you should stop when you feel like you're 80% full. I agree. I tell people that all the time, like when I eat lunch at work, I don't ever want to get full at lunch. If you get full at lunch, you're playing yourself. Because now when you're full at lunch, when you go back 1, 2, 3 o'clock, you're going to be ready to take a nap somewhere. You're ready to lie down because you're full. A lot of us brothers, it's what we call the itis. You're going to have the itis. And that's really tough when you at work. And then when you got a job like mine, we expected to engage with people and, still have energy to run around and do other type of things. That's hard to do when you in that afternoon slump because you done got full at lunch. So don't play yourself like that. I agree with that. Only eat till you're 80% full, especially if you're at work, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be getting full at lunch, okay? Good way to lose your job. You're going to be called sleep around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They said the plant slant. And what that is the food that's in your mouth. They were talking about how a lot of these people eat a lot of beans. They said a lot of lentils, a lot of black beans, stuff like that. I love beans. I probably could be eating more. I read this and I'm like, I'm going to start messing around eating some more beans. Beans are good. And if you get them done right, they can be amazing. So there's that, the plant slant. Eat more beans. They said wine at 5. I'm going to tell you, who's the guy that just passed away not too long ago, but that was his thing. It's 5 o'clock. Jimmy Buffett. That's what he said. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We should all be taking that, 5 o'clock break, okay? 5 o'clock is middle time, but really that just ties in with that downtime. At some point in the day, you got to be done with work and you got to decompress. So that right there, that wine at 5 p.m. And they said a lot of these people do drink wine. Maybe a glass or 2 a day. They don't drink, to excess. They're not getting all, plastered every night or whatever. But they do drink maybe a glass or 2 of wine a day. And they said that's not a bad thing at all. It's a good way for them to decompress after a long day, So wine at 5, not bad. Belong. They said belong to something. Now this is interesting to me because I'm usually not big on belonging to things, believe it or not. In my life, in my day, I belong to the church, I was baptized, stuff like that. But they're talking about belonging really to anything. Now they did say most of these 263 people over the age of 100 belong to the church or some kind of church, some kind of faith-based thing they're a part of. That's cool. Human beings, we do need congregation. We do need each other. We're social beings. So I think being a part of something that we view bigger than ourselves is needed by all human beings. Does it have to be the church? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? You probably get the same thing you get from a church from a lot of other social clubs too. You know what I'm saying? Like a bowling club or a book club or something else in the community. But there's nothing wrong with church. I grew up in the church. My mom is a minister. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So that right there can add years to your life, just being a part of a faith-based community or some kind of community, something bigger than yourself, right? So belong. Put loved ones first. No one should have to tell you that. Family should always come first. And I'm going to tell you, I love money, but family has to be more important than money. I love my job, but family's got to be more important than my job. There's nothing more important than family. When people on their deathbed, you never hear people say, oh, I wish I'd worked more. No, but you do hear people say, man, I should have spent more time with my son. I should have spent more time with my wife. I should have spent more time with my daughter. People always regret the time they didn't spend with loved ones, because at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna forget. That's what you're gonna miss. You're not gonna miss the money. You're not gonna miss your clothes. You're not gonna miss any of that garbage. You're gonna miss the time that you didn't get to spend with loved ones because you was chasing the bag. And I get it. We're all chasing the bag, but family has to come before the bag. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Say it again. Family has to come before the bag. As I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. Anyway, moving on. The last one is find the right tribe. And you hear tribe, you're like, man, what kind of racist stuff is that? They don't mean it like that. When they say find the right tribe, they're just talking about finding the right group of individuals to hang out around. And that's what it is with me, too. I'm going to tell you, I have different groups that I hang out around. Because some of the cats from this group would never hang out with some of the cats from this group who I'm friends with. And some of these cats would never hang out with these cats. But I can go out and hang around all these different cats because I'm just me. I'm just here, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I like hanging around these different people because these brothers are on different things that I'm not on. You have to get inspiration from other people. It's good to get advice from other people, but it's also good to be around other people who are on things you are on, and some of them are on things that are bigger and better, so that'll also broaden your horizons. I love hanging out with brothers who got more money than me. I love hanging out with brothers who are just doing bigger and better things than I'm doing, or just doing different things that I never thought about doing, because I'm going to learn from that and I get something from that. Right? So always do that. Know your tribe and have a good tribe to hang out around. A friend of mine, I'll go ahead and say his name. I haven't seen him in years. I hope you watched the show. My boy Demont. He used to tell me, he said, Ed, if you're kicking around 5 broke, you the 6th one. And that's real. So just, since it's a family show, if you kicking around 5 broke brothers, you the 6th one. And that's true. So don't be hanging out around a bunch of broke brothers. Hang out around a bunch of brothers who got good jobs, or who are making money in the stock market, or who are, I don't know, betting on horses. I don't care. Something that you're not doing that you probably get, something from, get some type of inspiration from, or learn something from. Put yourself on a new track to be doing bigger and better, right? So that's what's up with that. Moving on, let's talk about something huge right here. A lot of people don't understand how sacred the separation of church and state is. And then we have some idiot politicians, and they're idiots. I mean, they are idiots. These people don't know they butt from a hole in the ground. People like Lauren Burbid and Marjorie Taylor Greene going to sit up there and say that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she had said something that we should all, she said it's something that, I guess Congress and other leaders in America should just go ahead and say this is a Christian nationalist country. What? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then you got Lauren Boebert talking about, I'm tired of hearing about all this separation of church and state stuff. They didn't mean that like that. Yes, they did, 110%. I don't think any